Should you get a Sterling Ray34, such as this, or a Musicman, a USA SUB? So the USA SUBs are from early 2000s. That was 2002. Mine's 2002.
I'm sure it's 2002. It might be 2003.
Early 2000s. They only made them for a few years, I think. So proper USA one. I'm going to say they're about the same price used, because you can't buy a new one. That was about 700 quid. Mine was about, yours was 6, but that was 150 years ago. Yeah, you can pick those up for about...
No, it's 550, I think.
Well, pre-COVID,
about 15 years
they're
ago.
about 600. So those were both about the same price. But everything's gone through the roof, and I paid 7 for mine, and I had to pay 200 quid to get it imported, so it's about 9. Which I think I've paid over the odds. But
that is ridiculous.
let's say they're the same price used. What's the difference? What should you get? What are the differences? So they've both got 2-band EQ. That's a similarity.
Hold that one, and I'll
tell you what, I'll hold this one. This is the grey one's the Sterling. The white one is a Musicman.
So the thing I noticed the first off is the finish on it. So this is, I wouldn't even call this a finish. It's just someone just painted it because they thought they needed to have a colour on it.
Yeah, I don't like the finish on
whereas that is a nice finish.
Sparkly.
Sparkly
the colours on these are definitely a lot better.
Yeah.
But it's a lot newer. It's 20 years newer.
Yeah.
And it's like really thick polyurethane, shiny, nice finish, gloss.
And this is heavier.
And they all come with a awful finish. Yeah, it's heavier. Awful finish, awful looking scratch plate. I don't know if you like it, but I don't. It's like a checker plate.
To be fair, this isn't exactly how it came either. So this was a silver checkers scratch plate.
You spray painted
it black. That was silver. And that was silver, and I sprayed all those black just because I wanted to have it black. And the neck was that black horrible paint, which Mark sanded off and dyed.
That's the biggest problem with those. These all come with a satin black finish, which is really sticky. And because I've been looking at buying these for years, loads of people sand them off, but people just sand them and leave it. Whereas I've refinished it. That was nitrocellulose,
and it looks wicked with the red
and dyed red. And it's quite flamey, your neck.
Yeah.
I don't know how many pieces of timber this is made out of. These are definitely made out of more than one because I put a stomach cut on mine, a gut cut. So 3 or 4 pieces of timber.
This is proper slab.
They're both proper slabs, to be honest.
But this is definitely heavier than that.
Yeah. This neck I think is nicer. This has got a thinner, more jazz-based style neck. This...
Yeah. The really size of that is definitely a better neck, but
this neck on that...
Yeah, I don't like the feel of I don't like the gloss neck. I like satin.
Yeah, could sand this off, put this on that. Would that be ideal? I did consider doing that.
That would be nice, but saying that, I don't know how that would affect the tone at all. You know, tone.
I think it wouldn't. Tone would, not a thing.
But I do prefer a slightly thinner neck area. This is quite chunky.
Yeah. Do they neck dive? Does yours?
No.
Does it not?
No.
Oh, because the body weighs 4 tons. It's glass. Yeah, this does this.
Maybe it does a bit. I don't know, but when I'm playing,
this does a lot.
It doesn't.
Body's light, neck's heavy.
Yeah,
okay.
This is really heavy.
Yeah, so it's balanced, which is kind of a good thing. And a lot of people won't like to sand a neck down because people get scared of doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
So both got 2-band EQs. What we have noticed is they do sound quite similar. Apart from we did a rehearsal the other day where Steve always plays that in rehearsal all the time. Sounds great in a mix. He played this and it just didn't sit right. I don't know what it is about it. You said before I pressed record that this sounds newer.
Yeah. I know it doesn't make sense.
Newer.
But it's they have a very similar sound, but this just seems.
Do you think it sounds more trebly because it's got newer strings?
No, but this has got brand new strings on it.
Has it?
Yeah, these are the new strings I put on.
Why do you think new strings?
His
sound is old strings.
I bought this I think it was 15 years ago, and I never changed the strings until about 3 months ago. So, and when I first did it, it sounded horrible. I don't really like the sound of new strings, so it was
leave it a couple of days.
Twangy, and it didn't. It seemed to. Well, I panicked a little bit, thinking it won't sound the same. But as soon as we plugged it in and jammed out, it was like, oh, it's fine. It's just the way it sounds acoustically without being plugged in that it sounds a bit new.
That is genuinely. I've bought one of these. This is mine. That's Steve's. I've bought one of these because it's genuinely the best bass sound I've ever heard.
Yeah, I've heard quite a few now, and this is definitely one I'll never get rid of, and one that it's one we use for all recordings, all all the time we play it, except for the Christmas song, which I use the aria.
Aria, yeah. So a P bass.
But that was because I wanted a P bass sound rather than this deep, growly monster.
And you've got a theory which I completely agree with. There's two bass sounds. There's bass guitar, and then there's Musicman.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two sounds. Well, this proves that there's a bit of a range to the Musicman sounds. It doesn't sound quite the same.
What do you know what pickup is?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No. I think this is US electrics. I think these Ray34s are what come in the US ones. I think it's US hardware. I might be wrong. I'm not entirely sure. But the 2-band EQ is known for being best, and that's why I chose this, and that's why I want that, because the sweet spot for the sound is rolling the treble down a bit. Expert.
So all it is bass and treble. I whop the bass all the way up and then roll it off. Probably down, if it was on the numbers, I'd say probably down to about 9, maybe 8.5.
Okay.
And do the opposite with the treble.
Oh, it's all the way up 1.5.
So it's all the way up on the bass and then back down 1.5.
A tiny bit.
And then the opposite for the treble. So all the way off and up 1.5.
Oh yeah, I was going to say it's 1.5. That's okay. I didn't realize you turned it down that much.
Yeah,
I thought you were like halfway.
I do the same. I literally just this is bass, I think. So I just go. I'll whack it up to the top and just go like that. Treble all the way down to the bottom. And just do that.
And that is how you find the sweet spot on a Musicman. Genuinely, because the tone is fantastic.
Yeah.
We haven't played anything.
I might move it slightly depending on, but yeah, that's pretty much the.
And this is how that sound sounds. So this will be a tone test. This is.
Basement. I always forget which way around it is.
I've had the bass 15 years. Something like that. Change it. That's definitely real rosewood. I'm not sure what this is. Might be some kind of rosewood. Right, can you unplug and then do the same thing on this same sweet spot? God, that's heavy.
Yes, it is a massive difference in weight. Doesn't sound as
growly. Sounds more like a normal bass, I think.
Yeah, it doesn't sound as beefy and.
Doesn't sound bad.
Full.
It's completely subjective.
It's nice. Again, like.
And the problem is, I'm used to this sound, and I love this sound.
An Fender would not sound the same as this or that, so you wouldn't go, "Oh, I don't want a Fender because it doesn't sound like that."
That's
but
a
it's
proper humbucker.
Definitely different, and it does feel lighter, even sitting down with it on my leg. There's something about it which it's a little bit strange.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way. Like it's, I just am used to that. I've been playing that for
that finish.
15 years.
I wish. The thing is, I'm going to do a guitar course soon. I might take my. Oh, there's no point getting my body refinished. I just made it look cool. But you could. I could sand it down and take this with me, get this resprayed, because that's a wicked finish. You know, put a gut cut on it if you want one, and just have it. Because the finishes these come with,
they're not
are a bit shite.
That's why I've quite liked letting it get banged up a bit. So it's got.
Well, oh my God, what is that?
I don't know where these dings come from.
Silver paint.
If you look at the top, every ding of that is smashing on the ceiling.
That's a ceiling from Pubs, probably the native tongue in Epsom.
Yeah, which the ceiling was about that high.
Yeah, this neck looks fantastic in red.
Yeah, it does look very nice. But it was horrendous. It was the worst neck I've ever played on any guitar or bass when it had the black, sticky...
Yeah, notoriously sticky. So if you can get one of these, and you're lucky, they are old, but it's fine. I think...
They will last forever. They're just solid
proper
bits
US
of wood.
Musicman. That neck is lovely, and I don't. It's glossy, but it's not sticky. I know you don't like a glossy neck.
Yeah.
I don't mind a glossy neck.
It's only the comparison. If I didn't have that and was playing this, I'd probably be all right. But I just. Yeah,
I wish this neck had that profile because it's slimmer. It's definitely slimmer the whole way down.
Like I said earlier, before we started recording, I think the fretwork might be nicer on this.
I thought you said that about my bass.
Oh, and this. Right?
Okay. How funny. You thought this would have worn perfectly over.
Yeah, what's that? Oh, no. Yeah, it doesn't feel quite as... It's never been a problem.
It's not bad fretwork. Like, there's no fret sprout or sharp ends. Are you sure you haven't made that up?
I might.
Is that a fretboard rolled? Yours could just be worn. This, I don't know what that is. Maybe it is rosewood. This looks like rosewood. More.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't look.
What's
It doesn't
that
look
gonna
like
look like,
Pal Ferro.
No?
Yeah, it's nothing like that, is it? Maybe it is rosewood.
It looks like a comic version of a fretboard.
because that's proper.
Look at it. It looks like it's.
Yeah, it does look like someone's drawn it on, doesn't it? Someone's gone on it with a pen.
Weird. Never even noticed.
And it's not unattractive. It's not like a lot of people don't like Pherotone. It's definitely not ebony. I mean, my God, it's not ebony, but I don't know what it is. But maybe it's a rosewood, but some obscure one.
If that had an ebony fretboard, I'd never let it go.
Can I play just to do, because we haven't played much. I'll do.
Sorry, I'm busy with this hand.
Yeah, he's drinking water. It says water on it, therefore it's water. Right, I'm doing the same thing on that, and I didn't play for very long. I think that sounds bigger.
It sounds newer.
It sounds brighter and a bit thinner, whereas that's got more chunkiness to it.
This
stupid word.
And again, like you were saying earlier, like in a mix, it's a bit different. Like both, you could add both of them, not at the same time, preferably, to a mix, and they both sound good. But this one seemed to just have an extra bit of growl, bit of power.
Well, when I go to mix our stuff, that takes no time.
Yeah.
And when I went to mix this, I was like, why doesn't the bass not sound right? And I could not, because I was drunk, I couldn't remember what we'd recorded. Steve reminded me it was this. I was like, oh, okay, that's why it doesn't sound right. So that's from our perspective, though. But our sound's probably evolved around this, maybe around that.
Yeah, definitely.
At the same time,
because I used to play Fender Jazz. There's American Fender Jazz.
The nicest bass I've ever played.
Yeah,
not the nicest looking.
Yeah,
but
it was the like
wasn't unattractive.
Was it the three-tone
flame burst?
Thingy burst,
Storm?
whatever it is.
Red burst.
Not a storm burst.
Not flame burst.
But it was such a nice bass to play, and you came with me when I bought it and
Anderton's
played a Mexican version and the American version, and it was like completely different.
It was
bass.
night and day.
Yeah, and that was the same type of like.
I'm
jazz
wondering, because I haven't heard a bad sounding Mexican bass, I'm wondering if part of that was because that jazz bass was so nice. Do you know when you play a guitar that's really well set up, you just play better? I wonder if part of it was that. Because that jazz bass was the best setup bass, hands down. I thought my aria was well set up, and I couldn't make it as good as yours. I probably could now, but then I couldn't.
I don't feel like this is that playability wise.
No.
This is. It feels like you're fighting with it every time you play it. Like it's a chunky neck.
Like a Les Paul, isn't it?
It's heavy. It's just something. Yeah, like you'll never beat that sound.
No.
Whereas like with the Aria and the Fender, it was you just sit there playing it all day. It's easy. And
nice. It's lovely. It's like you could do a gig for weeks, and you'd do a gig for an hour on that, and then you'd probably die.
Oh yeah, yeah. After we've had a couple of hours in rehearsal, I feel like I'm gonna have to lay down because my shoulders like dead.
And this is a bit lighter. I don't know, we should have weighed them, but this is definitely a bit lighter.
I'm sure we can do it after.
Sort of irrelevant because every instrument weighs a different weight. Yeah. So, in summary, what would you? Well, I'd get that.
You didn't weigh it, but you think this might be heavier than your one, right? The same.
Yeah,
the same one.
Mine is lighter.
Yeah, so
but I have just taken a cut out. Mine's definitely lighter before I did that.
So that's strange. And the finish on yours seems to be
more bobbly, more Artex.
But it seems to be. But I think that's just because this is worn off. I think yours looks like it's a bit nicer. For some reason. Do
you know how I feel about it? That is the ideal bass, and I just hope mine is as good. Like genuinely.
Yeah, yeah. The overall, just the looks are subjective.
But I know what you mean. It is heavy, and you have to fight it.
Yeah.
And if you do the 6 hour thing,
perfect. It's our sound, our bass sound. And like you say, you barely have to do anything with the mixing of it.
For us, but that could be subjective, but that definitely sits in the mix better.
Yeah.
We are a 3-piece. If you've got more instruments, it may not work. Or if you're playing baritones, maybe it'll get in the way of other instruments. Who knows? What would you buy? If you had, I don't know how much they are used, maybe 600 to 800 quid, and you were going to buy a Musicman, would you buy a Sterling Ray34?
I'd go this because it's cheaper anyway. It's cheaper and
I don't think they are now.
No?
No, I think those are more expensive. Every one of those I've found is more expensive than one of these used now.
Yeah,
didn't used to be.
We did go into a shop. We did the old thing and went into a shop.
Into a what?
A shop.
Walked
We walked with our legs into the. It was in. Was it Leatherhead?
Leatherhead.
Yeah.
More music.
That was a good.
So I remember seeing it and going, Steve, they've priced it wrong.
Yeah.
Quick.
Yeah, because I didn't really. When I bought this, I was very new to bass. I think this was my.
See your first bass?
Did I buy this?
I have no idea.
I can't remember if this was before or after the Fender, but yeah, this is very early on. And whether I bought the Fender before or after, I just stuck with the Fender because it was easier to play. So I left this for ages, but this is now the sound, and yeah,
It was Nick who spotted the sound, the drummer.
Yeah.
I didn't realise how good
he kept
it
on telling me to bring this back to the studio, and I was like, no, the other one's much better to play. But...
Well, we used to rehearse for hours, and well, I suppose we still do now, just do less rehearsals, but you play with that for 6 hours, that's hard on you.
Yeah.
Whereas playing the Fender isn't.
Yeah.
That's one thing you've got to bear in mind. But these are a bit lighter. But, so in summary, it's up to you, really.
If you want a Musicman sound, that has it.
Yeah.
This is just better.
I agree. I do think this feels nicer.
We need to get a proper Musicman Stingray and compare it to this.
You can buy it. Have you seen the price of them? I mean, I cannot believe the price. And they charge it with a straight face.
I just don't know how it would get better than this, sound-wise. Like, I think a proper Musicman Sterling will be
I think it's got the same electrics.
nicest thing to play.
From back in the day, it's got the same
Yeah,
electrics. This is just the Gibson Les Paul studio version.
Hmm.
So they're just taking out all the fancy stuff.
Yeah, which is fine by me.
Yeah.
I just think if I had the money, I would check out a proper Stingray because it would then feel nicer and it would be the perfect bass. Whereas this is the perfect sounding bass.
If you could get one that's lighter,
need to change this.
Yeah.
Slightly lighter. I don't really care about the finish. The neck.
Would it be annoying if you bought one and it didn't sound as good as that though?
Well, that's why I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't buy it.
I wouldn't risk it either.
No, I'd have to
Or you could put
go
that
into a
in it.
shop. Yeah, I'd have to go into a shop,
with that.
try it out, test it, A/B. Is it worth? Especially, it's so much money.
So do we agree that I've got one of these? Do we agree that both of them sound better than this? Because they do sound quite similar. And this does sound. I know what you mean. It just sounds.
Yeah, I wouldn't say
less beefy, more trebly, but the strings are fairly. Well, I don't know how old the strings are. I genuinely can't remember.
Yeah, and these are only a couple of months old.
Well, that's really new.
Hmm.
So.
But yeah, I wouldn't say it is a massive, massive difference, but it just feels right. Sounds right.
Well, I'm selling this, and I've just bought one of those, and it cost me 900 quid, which is ridiculous for one of those, which should cost around 600.
You paid almost double this.
That's how much I wanted one. So that kind of says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And these are about 600 or 700, and this came with.
But you won't regret it because it's the nicest sounding.
I don't regret it already.
No.
On the day I bought it, I sanded the neck off and put a gut cut on it. I took a
and that does look really
to
cool.
it.
No, I'm sure there'll be a video coming up. So.
Or a couple, yeah.
Or a couple.
So that says it all. Yeah, I'd probably go that, or buy both and put this neck on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Fair enough. Thank you for watching.